Hi there, queers and comrades. It's Jason Wyman, aka Queerly Complex. And today it's Monday, which means that it is time for Jason Reads. Every single Monday, I am reading the words and works of other people that are helping me find my place in the chaos that is this cosmos. Today, I'm going to be reading from The Red Deal by The Red Nation. I got this book back in 2021 during the pandemic. I had been listening to a lot of different podcasts with the Red Nation, and I have really valued the way in which they give concrete examples of the problem. They give concrete, clear definitions, and they give examples of solutions from indigenous movements. And I think it's really important to both diagnose the problem and also to give or point a direction towards a direction. Today, I'm going to be reading from the introduction, and I'm going to read a section called The Four Principles. That's what I'm reading today. If you want to join me in space and time, on Thursday, join me at 465 Collective for Thursdays are for Queers and Comrades. It is every single Thursday. You can find out more at queerlycomplex.com. Now I'm just going to jump right in. The Four Principles. What follows is a plan of collective climate action based on four principles that we developed after extensive conversation, dialogue, and feedback from Indigenous and non-Indigenous community members, comrades, relatives, and fellow travelers. The first Red Deal Coalition meeting was held on June 19th, 2019 at Larry Casus Freedom Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Since then, the platform has been revised and adopted by social movements, politicians, and organizations like the Democratic Socialists of America. This book is an extension of these original principles and a reflection on the changing material conditions we confront and how these conditions shape and inspire the visions we set forth in the original document. The Red Deal is a living document in the sense that it should not be taken as gospel, nor as an idealistic or utopian program for change. As conditions shift, so must we. We must be both optimistic and action-oriented, permanent builders. A great deal has changed since we came together in the spring of 2019 to begin our initial discussions about what would later become the Red Deal. The ideas, principles, and plans of action contained within this book have therefore been forged through movement, struggle, and direct action. Some of them have already been tested and revised, awaiting new tests and new potential revisions by those who are moved to take it up within their own struggles and movements. While there is an inherent flexibility built into the Red Deal, we remain steadfast in the following four methods and principles of organizing that anchor the original pamphlet. We encourage you to act upon what you find in the Red Deal by applying these principles to your local, tribal, or regional situation. 1. What creates crisis cannot solve it. Divestment was a popular strategy during the No DAPL uprising in 2016. Water protectors called upon the masses to divest from the financial institutions subsidizing the pipeline. The Red Deal continues this call for divestment from fossil fuel industries, but we go one step further. We draw from Black abolitionist traditions to call for divestment from carceral institutions like police, prisons, the military, and border imperialism, in addition to divestment from fossil fuels. Divestment is only half of the equation. What will we do with the resources that will become available once we divest from these institutions and practices? As of 2015, military spending accounted for upwards of 54% of all discretionary spending at the federal level. Proposed discretionary spending for national security in 2020 comes in at $750 billion, with $718 billion slated specifically for the U.S. military. And it is much more right now in 2025. I mean, it is incredibly more now in 2025. In a given year, the U.S. provides $3.8 billion in military aid to Israel, more now. $182 billion is spent each year on cops and prisons. These figures don't even include revenues from the fossil fuel industry. Compare this to the $68 billion allocated for education in 2016 and $186 billion allocated for mental health services in 2014. $66 billion of discretionary funding is spent on healthcare each year, with only $5.4 billion allocated to Indian Health Services, the branch of the Department of Health and Human Services responsible for providing direct medical and public health services to members of federally recognized tribes. Despite treaty and federal obligations to provide adequate health care, Native people, especially those living in urban locations, have the worst health care in the nation. Almost half of Americans cannot afford basic procedures, and pharmaceutical corporations control these already deficient public services through lobbying. The U.S. government is threatening to further cut spending on education, healthcare, food stamps, and other crucial health and human services in order to inflate military spending, bail out banks, and subsidize fossil fuel corporations. Meanwhile, schools, nursing homes, domestic violence shelters, homeless shelters, soup kitchens, art programs, museums, clinics, public bus lines, community farms, and local businesses are having to raise money through GoFundMe campaigns and bake sales to remain in operation. And here in San Francisco, we're cutting even more in the 2026-2027 budget that Daniel Lurie is putting forward. Imagine if the U.S. military had to hold a bake sale to keep its doors open while life-giving and sustaining programs were fully funded and never in fear of disappearing. Imagine if we had over $1 trillion to invest in healthcare for everyone, to increase teachers' wages so they can provide quality free education to everyone, to repair roads and provide safe and accessible public transportation for workers, to provide safe and comfortable homes for elders, and to fund large-scale language revitalization programs in every indigenous nation on the continent. While ludicrous under our current system, imagine the world we can build through divestment. With the resources we gain from divesting from U.S. military alone, we could end child hunger, homelessness, and fund renewable energy on a global scale tomorrow. Literally. There is not, as the ruling class wants us to believe, a scarcity of resources. There are plenty of resources to fund these programs and restore dignity to our relatives. We must simply wrest them from the greedy clutches of the ruling class, what I call the billionaire Epstein class, and redistribute them to the people. That is principle one, and I highly encourage you to go and look for the Red Deal online. They have a version of it that is available for free online. Please go check it out. The other three principles, just the big bullets, are change from below and to the left. The third one is politicians can't do what only mass movements do. And the fourth one is from theory to action. And I'm going to leave you with this little quote here, which is, liberation isn't a theory. It's a necessity and a right that belongs to the humble people of the earth. How will we make it happen? We will not turn away from opportunities to organize, agitate, and build people power in spaces of state or surveillance like prisons, child services, hospitals, and classrooms that are designed to dehumanize and disempower the people. The state sets its targets on poor and working class people because it knows they pose the greatest threat to its existence. We will not let the state steal all our relatives or gut our power any longer. We must swarm the state, inside and out, multiplying the threat by millions until it crumbles. My name is Jason Wyman. I am also known as Queerly Complex. I am also a steering committee member of the San Francisco People's Budget Coalition, and we are having a town hall on April 7th, which is next Tuesday at La Ofrenda 2070. on Mission Street, right here in San Francisco, a few steps away from the 16th Street BART station. It starts at 7 o'clock and it goes until 8:30. And join me there, please. We need all of you in joining the masses against the billionaire Epstein class agenda that is right here in San Francisco and being enacted by a number of people. Come and learn how you can join the fight locally for a people's budget here in San Francisco. Ciao, y'all. Thanks for watching.